Hello friends, my name is Asad and I welcome you all to start a very interesting series, My Papa Says. We are living in an age of computers where there are lots of software which are trending. So, many programming languages are even taught at school levels and many school children get interested in learning to code. In this video, we will know how important it is for school children to learn to code. Or is it really that important? Today, I have invited my papa in the show, who is a software engineer by profession and have an enormous experience in the software industry. And he'll provide some advice for the school children about learning coding. So friends, let me introduce you to my papa. My papa, Mr. Muhammad Junaid Alam, who is a special guest for the show today, who he holds a degree at computer applications and has 18 years of work experience in the software industry. He has worked in the companies like Tata Interactive Systems, IBM, and Ericsson, and is currently working as a technology architect at Cognizant. Hello, Papa. Welcome to my show.
Thank you, Beta, and it's my honor to be at your show. So before I start, let me tell you that whatever answers, whatever response I provide, so these are all my own personal opinion, and I know I represent the organization where I'm working right at the moment. So once again, thank you very much for inviting me to the show. So,
thank you, Papa. Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you my first question.
Sure. So I see you have got some sets of questions from your friends.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's good. So okay, Beta, please go ahead.
Okay. Today it's an era of computer and software technologies. We find some portions of software, specifically programming or coding, being taught even in some school courses at school level. Some school children also develop an interest in learning coding. So my first question is, should children focus on learning coding? Will they have any added advantage if they learn coding right now, from now?
Sure, that's a very good question. And yeah, I'm aware that many students, they are trying to learn programming and coding. So my advice will be like if the students are interested, definitely they can learn coding. But you people should have, you children, I mean, should have one thing very clear in the mind, that you need to focus on your academics first. Don't get so much obsessed with code that you're only focusing on coding, but you are not paying attention to your academic studies. So as long as your academic studies are in place and you're focusing on that, alongside with it, if you're learning coding, no problem. Go ahead if you have interest in it. So that's what I have to say.
Thanks. Okay. Okay, so my second question is, there are so many programming languages we hear about often, yeah. For example, we have Java, C, C++, Python, and Golang, etc. If any school child is interested to start learning coding, which programming language should they pick?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Yeah, this comes to the mind of many children when they are trying to learn some coding, because nowadays, you know, we have Java, we have C, we have C++, and now you have mentioned Golang, which is a new programming language introduced by Google. So again, here can be two different aspects. One aspect is like, as I mentioned, that if they have got it in their curriculum, then definitely they must have some specific programming language in their curriculum, like C or C++ or Java or Python. I'm not sure if Golang is there in the curriculum because it is a very new programming language. So that way it is mandatory for them, as I said, so they have to do it, right? Don't try to learn multiple programming language at the same time, because that will make things complicated. Learn one at a time. So it is better to go with what your curriculum demands, right? Other way, if it is not in your curriculum and then you still have the interest to learn, as I mentioned, then go with any one of these programming language, not a problem. Whichever programming language suits you best, means it interests you more at this point of time. So I think better would be to go for C++ or Java, and more better if you can go for Python, because Python is very easy and yet powerful to learn. But again, it depends on your interest. This is just a suggestion. So it depends on the child. If they can take care of these things, then fine, they can choose the programming language of their choice.
Thanks, Papa. Okay, so many a times a question comes to the mind of children who want to start learning to code, which is that maths is really important to learn coding. If a student is not fluent in maths, will they able to learn coding?
Okay, it's a very interesting question, yet another interesting question, and I'll say, because this is the question not only in the mind of the children, but even in the mind of the adults or the professionals, in fact, or the students who are completing their final degree and now they are switching to programming, or they have started learning programming. This question is even in their mind as well. Okay, so at this point of time, because since we are discussing in the context of school children learning coding, then at this point of time, I would say yes, maths does add some, it does, you can leverage maths because it will help you in your programming and coding, but actually it is not necessary at all, that you have to be very good at maths to be a very good programmer. Practically, it is not so, actually. Yeah, in some specific situations, I'll come to it later. It may be required. Now, the main thing is, I have found that many students, even the professionals, they are not good at maths, but they are still a good programmer. The reason is that their logic is very strong. They are very good at writing algorithms. Okay, so if somebody is good at writing algorithms or designing algorithms, then I think they can go ahead with programming. Yeah, they will definitely have certain limitations, like they can, like in future, if they want to go for data science or some part of software skills that requires mathematics, there they will have some issue. If they can brush up and learn maths to that level, they can manage it, then fine. Otherwise, still there are some parts of application programming where even without maths, if you are good in algorithm, okay, or good in logic design or algorithm, then you can still be a good programmer, and most of the people are good at algorithms.
Okay, but you just mentioned algorithm right now. What is it actually?
Oh, okay, Asad, tell me one thing. If I ask you that, Asad, go get me make a cup of tea for me and get it for me. So this is a task for you. I have given you a task to achieve, right? So in software also, like we are actually solving some task, some problem of a task, or we are achieving some task in software programming. That is what programming is all about. So there are that task is divided into small logical steps. Okay, so you have to perform those small logical steps, and that actually completes your task, helps you in achieving the task. If I ask you to go and get me a cup of tea, what will you do? You'll first go to the kitchen. That is step one. Next, you will boil the water. I'm missing some of the step for the sake of simplicity. You'll boil the water, add sugar, add tea leaves, then add milk. After a certain time, after the tea is ready, you'll pour it in the tea cup, and then you will bring it to me. So boiling, putting all the tea leaves, let's consider that as a second step. Then after the tea is ready, you pour it in the cup. So if the tea is ready, and if condition comes, then you pour it. If otherwise, you let it boil further. Okay, so this is another step, and this is a decision making step. And after that, when you pour it in the cup, then the final step is you bring it to me and serve me, right? So this is what we call, this can be one simple example of an algorithms. I hope that is clear.
Thanks. Okay, nowadays we hear so much advertisement about some organization that have very expensive courses for small children to teach them coding in a way that they'll become expert in. Some organization even goes to the extent of promising that the child would reach the level of Google engineer, or someone like another Bill Gates of today. Due to this, many parents often get attracted to it. So how authentic is that claim?
Yeah, I understand the concern you have raised, actually, that yeah, many parents do get attracted to these courses which are for their children, because of course every parent want good for their children. They want their children to excel in whatever they do, and since, as you mentioned, this is an era of computers and softwares, so of course every parent would not every parent, most of the parent who are interested in placing their child in software industry, they would like their child to excel in that. And these kind of advertisements that the company is doing, that they can be like a Google engineer, or they may be placed at Google, or they can be next Bill Gates. So let me tell you some facts about it. So it is not like this is going to happen with each and every child, or even with some of the child. I'm not very sure, but this is a very difficult thing at this level. So some very specific instances, maybe there are some exceptions, maybe there where some childs like do very well, like they really excel at a very very younger age. But let's consider any child in general. So it's nothing like that actually. Yeah, the courses are expensive, I know. And here I will not comment on the company, whether the company's policy or the business they are doing. Fine, as long as the parents are happy, they are okay to admit their child in that for that course. If they have no issues, then no problem. They can go ahead with it. But let me tell you one fact, that it's nothing like that, because you have to learn the same thing. You have to learn the basic things first, then a level, then a step ahead. So that is the thing which has to be followed. Yeah, it may be like through their simulations or through their graphics, they may try to make the course more interesting. They may have somebody experts from these big giant industries. That is also one kind of advertisement as well. But you have got lots of good courses on YouTube. You'd be surprised that there are lots of good courses which comes for free on YouTube, even for kids. That if somebody is interested, they can learn it from there as well. So it will hardly make much difference, or maybe makes little. There may be little differences. I'm not very sure on that. I don't want to comment on that. But yes, it's not that you have to go to these organization to train your children until you really you really think that a parent may think that there is a need for such thing, to give their children to admit their children to such training centers or organization. That is fine, that is their own decision, not a problem. We will not comment on that. But if somebody can't afford that course, or in fact I would say that you should first start with the YouTube courses, free courses, because at a time the child may not be interested to that level, and they lose interest, and then you end up spending so much money. So it is better you start with the YouTube channel. And if the child gets interested in that course, it may be that the child may not see the need of joining those such institutions which are very expensive. They can manage with those YouTube channels which have got these tutorials. So this is up to the parents to decide, given these facts.
Okay, I see. Okay, so we also hear a lot about a technology which is catching a lot of attention, which is artificial intelligence and machine learning. Can a school child learn those at school level?
Okay, so I'll ask the school children not to get carried by this artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? Because to be honest, artificial intelligence and machine learning, they require a very higher level of maths, right?
Okay.
Means when you graduate, you learn those kind of mathematics starting from your, say, class 10, then till your graduation, whether you become a science graduate or engineering graduate. So you may require that level of mathematics. Otherwise, without that, you cannot learn that level of AI. But yes, from a perspective of small children, school children, I would say if they are interested, they can just read about AI, what AI is, what they do. Like this, through AI, we achieve self-driving cars. We have this. You must have heard about self-driving cars. Then in the in some of the apps you see, when the camera is on or the video is on, it can detect your face. Okay, and there are lots. These are just few examples in the field of medicine, how AI is being used, like to read the MRI records. Okay, they can just read the MRIs and they can tell that what could be the disease and all these things. So a child can read about these informations, what AI does, but they actually cannot go at this level and learn deep down AI, how AI is performed, what kind of coding we do for AI. This will be very difficult. In fact, it is impossible, because you need some kind of very advanced mathematics, which you will be studying, as I mentioned, starting from class 10 onwards to class 12. Then at your graduation level, like you have to learn linear algebra, you have to learn calculus, so which is not feasible actually. So this is my take on this.
Okay.
So hope that clarifies.
Well, thank you very much, Papa, for coming to our show and for resolving issues of me and my friends and every school child of my age. And yeah, so
It was a pleasure, Beta. Thank you very much. I also enjoyed talking to you, and I hope this is beneficial for you all.
yes.
And once again, thank you very much for inviting me to your show.
Okay. So, dear friends, I hope you liked the show and I hope the information was beneficial for you. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section and also stay tuned for much informative videos like this. Okay, so till then, stay safe, stay healthy.